On the 21st of June, 2019, Waterloo Region's Ion light rail system opened to the public, becoming the second contemporary light rail system in Ontario, after the Toronto streetcar system. The line is part of Waterloo Region's growth plan, which aims to create a compact and efficient city region rather than a sprawling and congested one. There are several other videos already on YouTube which give an overview of the new system. What I'd like to do is to highlight a few interesting technical aspects that I noticed while touring the system. The most obvious features that the Ion LRT brings to Ontario are some different types of light rail infrastructure. The Toronto streetcar system has light rail vehicles operating on the road in mixed traffic, or sometimes in their own lanes. On the other extreme, it also has light rail operating in a tunnel, a lot like a subway. But it doesn't really have much in between. The Ion light rail line has some segments which look a lot like Toronto streetcar lines. But once the line leaves the city centers, it runs on a dedicated right-of-way with railway crossings where it intersects other traffic. Because these intersections tend to be quite simple, it's easy to ensure that the light rail vehicles pass through without delay. This type of infrastructure is where light rail really shines. It provides the speed and reliability of a subway line, but with only the construction cost of a streetcar line. Another type of light railway that the Ion LRT brings to Ontario is the arrangement where there's a single track on the side of the road, and turning traffic needs to yield to light rail vehicles. This arrangement is very unusual in Ontario. In Toronto, traffic movements across dedicated streetcar lines tend to be either fully controlled by traffic signals or prohibited entirely. I guess we'll discover over the coming months and years whether it's also practical to simply have traffic yield to light rail vehicles. The Ion LRT is Ontario's first implementation of the standard North American light rail traffic signal. Rather than the green, yellow, and red traffic signals used in Toronto, Waterloo Region's transit signals have a white vertical bar representing the green light, a flashing version of that bar representing the yellow light, and a horizontal white bar representing the red light. The signals also display a flashing horizontal bar when the light is about to change to green, so to speak. Because they look nothing like normal traffic signals, they avoid the chance of a driver mistaking a transit signal for their own signal. These signals are doubly interesting because they're completely in violation of the Ontario Highway Traffic Act. Regulation 626 requires every traffic signal to have a circular amber and a circular red light. But Waterloo's transit signals don't have amber or red lights at all, let alone circular ones. The regulation also requires some sort of green light, which Waterloo's transit signals simply don't have. There also need to be at least 2 traffic signals located on the far side of the intersection. In Waterloo, there's typically a traffic signal on the far side of the intersection, but the second signal is typically located on the near side. I don't know what mechanism Waterloo uses in order to have these traffic signals which don't comply with the Traffic Act. Maybe there's some kind of site-specific exemption or systematic exemption, I don't know. But I'd like to know, to see if any of these features could be implemented on transit signals in Toronto. In general, I found that the transit signals provide fairly good progression for light rail vehicles. The most common place for light rail vehicles to get stopped seems to be the signal immediately after a station. This is likely because it's hard to predict when the vehicle will actually wish to proceed through the intersection. One major inefficiency I noticed in the signal operation is that dedicated transit phases stay active long after the vehicle has already left the intersection. This results in much larger impacts on other traffic than necessary. The Ion LRT is the first light rail system in Ontario with level boarding. The platform lines up perfectly with the level of the floor. This makes it very easy and efficient for all passengers to get on and off the vehicles. I hope that in addition to promoting efficient development in Waterloo Region, the Ion LRT helps to demonstrate the flexibility of light rail as a mode of transportation. It shows Ontarians that light rail is more than just streetcars. It is a full range of transportation options.